Okay, getting live in Facebook group. Okay, everybody, is everybody having a good week? How's your hump day? How did Monday, Tuesday go? Anybody have any wins they want to share?
Am I connecting? Can you hear me, Trammy?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I'm getting a bad signal. I'm going to start over.
Oh, I think the microphone was bad. Can you guys hear me?
Well, I have a waiting. So over it's
Can
on my
everybody
phone.
else hear me? Susan, can you hear me pretty well?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I think it's just you, Beth. All right, Joe. What's up, Joe? And Joe's son. Hi. I never met him before.
This is Gabriel.
Hi, Gabriel. How are you? You look just like your daddy.
He has red hair and the temper to match.
Oh, strawberry blonde hair? No.
Oh, no, it's Irish red.
Does anybody have any wins they want to share? I know Joe has some wins. Joe, tell us some of your wins. You had a lot of really good wins.
Today was my lowest weigh-in. I kind of been hovering around 300 for a week or so, and it was kind of frustrating. And then yesterday, I broke 300, and then cover your mouth and sneeze on my pancake. And then today I broke under 299. So the plateau hopefully is broken, and I'll keep going down. And then,
great job. How much weight have you lost so far?
So right over 45 pounds since I very first started trying. I think like 40 since I've been on the program.
That's awesome. Everybody give him a virtual fist bump in the camera because that's awesome. 45 pounds. What about you, Beth? Any wins that you want to share today?
Well, I weighed at my lightest yesterday and today. Like I'm so close. I've lost 14 pounds since mid-July. So like I hooked up with you guys 2 weeks after that. So I've been really, really awesome.
That is amazing. We're super proud of you. Good job.
Yay.
All right, Habibo, you have any wins?
Just being able to really pay attention to like nutrition stuff, especially like reading labels. And before, I think like I generally ate pretty healthy, but there's such thing as like eating too much of healthy stuff. So even though like I'm eating,
get along with everybody. So if you guys know anyone.
Yeah, go ahead. I think somebody.
Oh, sorry. I heard Rob's voice in the back. I was like, what? So for me, it's been able to really like pay attention to like salad dressing, and when I buy like yogurts and things like that, I mean, how much calorie does it actually have? And like the amount of sugar, I was like, wow. So for me, this week was really an eye-opening. And then knowing like my mental clarity, for example, like I was super stressed today at work, and instead of just going and like doing things that I normally do, I was like, maybe it's a good idea if I just stay and listen to everybody. Maybe that'll get me more of my like motivation and like my mental like back in tune, because it's easy for me when I have a really tough day to come home and like try to find my comfort food. So just being aware and like paying attention to tuning into the meetings, to the meeting today, because my daughter had some things going on and she was like, come with me, I need to do this. And I was like, you know what, I just need to stay home and participate this meeting.
That's awesome. It sounds like you're gaining a lot of awareness. So we're super proud of you for that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else have any wins that they want to share at all? Hi, you have any wins? Cheryl, you have any wins? I know Cheryl has some wins. Do you have any wins, Cheryl, that you want to share? Uh-oh, you're muted.
Okay.
Cheryl, you're
Okay,
still
there we go.
muted. We can't. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, it's been great. I actually drink water now, so that's a big win.
That is huge.
But just like it's been nice. I mean, I've been almost a week without fried foods, and that's huge. No potato chips, no tortilla chips. I mean, really clean eating. Eating my vegetables. I feel amazing just from like these little changes over a week. It's amazing.
Wow, that sounds
Yeah.
like a really successful first week. You're not even finishing really a whole week yet. And
Yeah,
you're
that's true.
good. That's so awesome. Awesome. So we have Matt joining us. I think he's busy doing his stuff, but I think he's tuning in. And we also have Hi's crushing it too. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a really awesome one for you guys today. Super excited to share this one with you. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see a orange background. Can you guys see the presentation? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see it. Awesome. Let's go to the beginning. Cool. Let's get started, everybody.
All right, cool. So we're going to tag team on this one today. We've been hammering this out. It's a really freaking awesome presentation we got for you guys. Always doing what we can to raise the level of awareness. Can everybody hear me okay? Awesome. All right, let's dive in here. So why the pause button mentality is ruining your health and fitness. The old pause button mentality.
And we'll tell you what that means in just a second.
I'll resume healthy eating later. After the vacation, once the baby's born, after dad gets out of the hospital, first of the year, Monday.
So raise your hand if you've been guilty of this, that you're waiting for the perfect situation. I think I took these words verbatim from probably each and every single one of you guys at one point. Raise your hand if you're guilty.
All right. So sound familiar? Yeah. So why this sounds reasonable, it could be ruining your health and fitness. Here's why and what to do about it. So common thought process. If I miss some workouts, eat the wrong things, skip the homework, I fail. Aren't I more likely to succeed if I take a break just until I have the time to do it right? Right? Sounds good, doesn't it? So here's the problem. The pause button mentality only builds the skill of pausing. I don't think that's a skill any of us need to get better at, right? So there are so many 21-day, 90-day, 42-day challenges. We know because we used to do them ourselves for over 7 years until we created this Precision Lifestyle Academy program. So what do these teach you? That getting fit within a short time period in your life is the way to go. But you can actually get fit and stay fit in the midst of normal, complicated, here's how it really is sort of life. Because life is a series of challenges and obstacles interrupted with occasional crisis. And that is just like, that's life. That's how it works. All right. So anyone can stick to a meal plan for 42 days. It's what you must build is the skill to get fit under real life conditions. When stuff is not going the way we hoped it would. When we have the schedule that we actually have, not the one that we wish we had. So let's accept that life has no pause button, because it does not that I know of. So there's never going to be a moment when things are just magically easier. The point is to keep going. Sometimes it's awkward, sometimes it's sloppy, but just keep going. And remember, something is going to be better than nothing. All right. It's not all black and white. Gray can still move us along. All right. So instead of pressing pause, we just adjust the dial. And sometimes that could mean adjusting from a 10 to a 3, a 2, or even a 1 versus turning the whole thing off. All right, that we just got to keep moving forward. So movement. So it could be simply walking, taking the stairs. So this is the dial and degree of difficulties in movement, right? So we got walk in the park, taking the stairs, 10-minute workout next to the bed in the morning, reasonably challenging workout. Go ahead.
So just giving you guys a heads up, a lot of times you think that, okay, if I am not a 10, then I'm a failure. So if you look on the scale, it says 10, intense daily training for tactical military job. That's for intense people, challenging 60 to 90 minutes workout 6 times a week. For a lot of you guys, that's not reasonable. And the fact that you can't get to a 9 doesn't mean that you're a failure. So instead of turning from a 10 all the way to a 0 or a 9 to a 0, what can you do instead? So instead of turning it from a 9 into something else, what else can you do? Maybe you can park farther away from the office to walk a little bit more. Maybe you didn't make it to your workout. This happened to Joe last week. Like, kids came up and he couldn't get in his morning routine where he walked. So what else can you do? How can you turn the dial back? Is it doing a 10-minute workout in your house right then and there? Is it taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking the dog for 30 minutes? So take a good look at this and see where you are at based off of what's going on in your current life, in your current situation. Same thing with nutrition. Sure, we would love for you guys to measure every single gram, and that's where we would like to go. However, some people cannot do that all the time because, let's say, okay, something happens. Let's say your phone broke, or let's say you didn't bring your food to work and you have to go through a drive-through. What can you do instead of saying, okay, F it, I'm just gonna have free pizza at work now? Then what can you do instead? So just look to see where you're at. Is it, the very most intense one on this one is running an organic farm and health spa, all meals prepped by sports nutritionists, eat slowly with no distractions. That's not reasonable for anybody here. I don't think that applies to anybody here at all. Number 9 would be eating most local organic, plan all meals in advance, and have it perfectly balanced. Sure, some of you guys are in this category. A lot of you guys are in category 8, prep food in advance with protein and veggie at each meal with balanced fats. A lot of times a lot of people here are 8s, but if you're not yet, then that's totally fine. A lot of people are at a 7, prepping food for a week in advance, making sure you get 6 servings of veggies a day. I know we've done a lot of veggie challenges with a few people in this group that it has applied to is, increasing your vegetables every day. I know a lot of you guys have protein goals. That's something that we've both hounded you guys in the past to have protein. So you could always dial it all the way down to, okay, let's figure out, all right, let's say you're eating at a drive-through every single day. So the only thing that you could do that day or feel like you could fit in is replacing one meal with a less processed one. That's still okay too. Making that tiny tweak towards something healthier still makes a big difference. You don't have to just turn it off and throw it all out the window. Does that make sense, guys? Awesome. So let's look at the chart with a scale of 1 to 10 on overall wellness. Sure. Overall wellness is going to be meaning, okay, just to reiterate what it is just basically taking care of your sleep, making sure that you're overall well balanced, making sure that you're well rested, rest and recovery, winding down before bed, making sure you're planning ahead, journaling, those sort of things contributes to overall wellness. Sure, if everybody was a 10, you would fill your day with joy, playing, fresh air, rewarding having close relationships, working outside, feeling relaxed, having meaningful physical job, quiet contemplation and meditation. You could totally have a 10, but a lot of times, if you can't have that in the day because there's so much going on, you could always go to a less dialed, a lower dial. Let's say 10 minutes of meditation a day. You could fit that in. Let's say you start something where you turn off electronics 30 minutes before bed, read a book and chill out. That's a dial 4. Dial 3, regular 5-minute break from work for fresh air, sunlight. You can go down to number 2, which is I encourage everybody to do, is 5 minutes to plan for the next day's workout / nutrition. This is something everyone should be at a level 2 at least. It's just 5 minutes to chart out what you want to eat the next day and your workouts for the next day as well. And then even if you can't do that, then maybe a 5 minute of wind down time for before bed suits you. So guys, take a look at this dial and see where you're at, and where, if things go crazy, where can you turn the dial down to without turning it off? Because any single step is better than throwing it all out the window.
Yeah. So perfection never happens in real life. We all know that. It just doesn't. So we're always going to be doing the best we can with what we have. That's totally okay. We can still make progress toward our goals and still improve our health and fitness, whatever is going on in our lives. So fitness in the context of real human life. So group activity time. How have you used the pause button in the past? Which of the following methods will you try moving forward? The dial method, being a little bit better, or anticipating and strategizing a plan, and how so? So let's see, who do we want to go to first?
All right, let's go to Jessica.
Hey, don't mind me, I'm cooking.
Oh, you're fine.
Definitely plan. That is what's helped me. And continue to do that. Even like you said, 5 minutes. You know, that's all it really needs to take. And it just helps with anxiety for sure. Just knowing what I'm going to do the next day, you know, or next week.
Love it. When was the last time you used the pause button mentality in the past?
Oh my goodness. Few months ago, and it took a lot to get, you know, my butt into gear again. You know, excuses are easier. Of course, if we can justify it, right? But it's not what's always best. It does take a little work, but it's totally worth it in the end.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Okay, let's go to Cheryl. How have you used the pause button in the past?
Go ahead,
You're muted.
Unmute yourself. There we go.
Okay, so what is it with the dial method? Does that just mean like,
How can you dial it back instead of turning it off?
gotcha. So I used the pause button for sure when I was in Oklahoma like a week and a half ago, because you know my mom's cooking Filipino cooking, and then like my best friend cooked like the most amazing barbecue, so it was awesome. But then I think now it's like a lot of planning. Definitely need a lot of planning, and really just like small little steps at a time, since I'm just starting, and it's really making a difference already.
That's awesome. Great
So
job.
cool.
All right, let's go to Habibo. How have you used the pause button in the past? Give me the scenario, and which of the following methods are you going to try moving forward?
Honestly, I still struggle with the pause button, but I feel like I have right now, like I have enough tools and like you to kind of nudge me forward a little bit. Like when it comes to like I'm getting really good at with my nutrition, but when it comes to my exercise, I'm like, oh, I'm tired today. I'll do it tomorrow. I feel like I've done it so much in my life, like, and I have to be kind to myself to not beat myself about it. Because it took years to learn it, and it's going to take some time to like change that mind frame of just saying, oh, it's not that bad if I eat this today, and then today turns into tomorrow, and then tomorrow starts the same thing, the same cycle. So as far as like exercise, I have to keep reminding myself why I am doing it. So it's still a battle to work through for sure for me.
Love it. And she pointed out getting connected to your greater why. Why are you doing this in the first place? That will get you far. Whenever motivation fails you and you want to just put it off to the next day, then remind yourself of why you're doing this, your greater why. What is your greater why, Habibo? If you don't mind.
Rob knows this because we talked about it. I think for me something really sunk in during our conversation. Like I knew that I wasn't on my best in terms like my weight, and I have mastered in all other areas of my life in terms of like education or other things. And we had a conversation where we used the methodology of like seeing yourself in 5 years, 10 years, like how do you look like, how do you feel, what are you doing? And for me, that was really an eye-opening. I wanted to see myself being vibrant and not necessarily like skinny, because I don't really want to be skinny. I want to be healthy. So the way I'm going, the stress level and the way I eat and the way I take care of myself, I can see myself in 5-10 years, like could be like extremely obese and have like diabetes because I have family history of diabetes. So my why is I see myself, like I literally could close my eyes and see myself being like 160, fit, fabulous, taking tons of pictures, vacationing with my loved ones, and just living life to the fullest.
Love it, Habibo. Love it.
So powerful. Love that.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Let's go to Luis. How have you used the pause button in the past? What was the situation? So what are the following methods? How are you going to overcome that moving forward?
All right. How have I used the pause button in the past? Shit, every weekend, man. That's so which of the message you're going to try to move forward? What I'm going to try to do, what I've been doing on the weekends is I've been monitoring my weight. So I have that goal between like 210 and 219. So I like to stay there. So anytime that I go over the 220 mark, then I'm like, all right, I got to dial it back. But my goal ultimately is to try to stay between 210 and 215. So on the weekends, making sure one of my goals is just to log everything in. So I find that if I log it in, then I do less bad as opposed to if I don't log it in. So it's usually that's what I try to work on. So
what is the biggest obstacle on the weekend? Just to share.
It's my girlfriend has a very active personality, so she likes to talk with people and things like that, where I like to stay home. But so we travel a lot. So we're always traveling like 2-day vacations here and there, 3-day vacations. So that's usually the reason why is that, we're usually like I'm outside of my home and outside of my environment. So it's usually fine.
Totally get it. And that happens a lot. I mean, sometimes whenever you're alone and you are in, Rob and I are lucky because we do the things exactly the same, but sometimes not everybody's like that. So you have to learn how to maneuver that and then have both people be really satisfied and fulfilled. So I think you're doing a great job, because I know that sometimes your weight would just jump like 10 pounds or something over the weekend. And then the last 3 days, it's been really stable within your parameters that you've set for yourself. And that's another amazing thing is he set a goal of, hey, I'm going to measure and manage. So whatever you measure gets managed. And he says that I'm going to make sure that things aren't going to get over 220 and really be able to stick with it, because it means a lot. And also he has a great why too. What's your why, Luis?
My why is, I want to be an example for my clients. I've never been that skinny kid person, and I've always had that as a staple, and I really want to just release that damn staple now and get a different identity. So that's, the big reason why I really doubled down on the coaching, this year was I'm tired of being the same, I'm tired of being, huge, I'll be like Rob, be all fit and cut like Rob, man. Shit.
You're doing awesome, man.
Yeah, you
Super
are. You are. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys his picture soon. I'm gonna post your picture. Your back just is so ripped compared to when you started.
I just want my stomach to be like my back now. So
yeah, you're okay. Just for everybody who's trying to get abs, like the lower stomach area is the hardest to shed.
Yeah,
so
the first place you gain is the last place you lose.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like that. It's like a ball of fat shit. It's all it's all the like the meals when I was at a kid, my mom, like at my grandma's, and you had to be Vietnamese food. I had Mexican food, so just menudo, summers just stored right there.
All hanging out there. You're getting it though. You're gonna get it. All right, let's go to Michael. What's up, Michael? Share with us. When have you used the pause button in the past?
Well, lots of different reasons for pausing me, but use the pause button just as an excuse for, I don't know, I guess most recently use the pause button because I was going back and forth to the doctor, but for the most part, I try not to use the pause button. But if we go back beyond before I got with you guys and this coaching, I paused every freaking day and every meal. It's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'll worry about burning this off later, and just eating bad and eating wrong. And anyway, I've learned through what you guys have us do, strategizing plans, and basically looking at everything that we put in this circle, and try to get better every day. With and of course you keep us on task on those things on your daily reminders, kind of like it's kind of like the old football coach sitting out there. It's kind of like you run this play right now and I expect you to execute it, and that's the way you guys I like that. It's kind of like you put it out there and we need to execute it, and really no excuses and no reason to put the pause button on, because at the end of the day we all win if we don't pause. So.
That's right, Michael. You're doing so awesome. Michael's down over 15 pounds. We just posted a picture of him, and he had surgery on his nose last week, and now he's fully recovered in less than a week.
Yes, yeah. And you told me at the beginning, take veggies and take fruit, and it was just phenomenal, and you can't even hardly see this. It's just crazy. It's crazy. The scar is gonna probably, I don't know, the 2 or 3 months you won't even be able to see that I had surgery. It's
Great
amazing.
job, Michael. Awesome. Let's go to Susan. Susan, share with us. Have you used the pause button in the past? And what are you going to do moving forward to put an end to it?
Well, I had to use a pause button today. This morning, my honorary granddaughter was recognized at school, so I went to that. And then I had a young man come and work in my flower gardens in my backyard, and he was here all day, so I had to stay here, so I couldn't work out and I couldn't walk. But I'm eating correctly. But I'll get back on it tomorrow. And
What'd you say?
Somebody else said something.
I think he was accidentally unmuted.
Oh.
So you're going to get back on tomorrow?
Yes.
Awesome. Great job, Susan. Definitely, this is an example of she put a hold on her workout because she had a lot of obligations, but guess what? She was really on track with her meals all day today. So she dialed it back and she's not throwing it out the window. So good job, Susan. Awesome. Let's go to Beth.
I'll unmute myself. You won't have to tell me. I think that's the first time in 4 or 5 weeks. Last week, I had an old injury bothering me, so I had to walk instead of doing the WOD. So I had to hit the pause button, but I maintained my nutrition and just gave my body a break. And then this week I moved my workouts to the morning so that the injury wouldn't be an irritant for me after, pulling a whole day and then trying to work out after that day. So my body's been responding really well. I feel so strong. This is the strongest I've felt since I started this. I'm actually knocking out more push-ups than I thought I could at 41 years old.
Wow, nice
Yeah.
work.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. So freaking awesome.
Great job.
Thanks.
Awesome. Let's go to Hi.
How's everybody doing? So, I think for me, the last time I talked to Rob about this, I hit the pause button big time right when around the shutdown happened, and it really took y'all's help to get me to reset everything back. And I think for me, a goal in the future would be to not really take those long pauses and, like you said, dial it back and when things are busy. And I think it's just about tracking it and keeping it in the front of my mind. That helps a lot. So
Love it. Gaining awareness. And the next time, if hopefully we don't ever have Corona shut down stuff again, but if it does, you won't just throw it all out the window, right?
right.
Awesome. Great job. Hi. Okay, let's go to Joe. What's up, Joe?
Hey, I think the last time I used the pause button was when it was right before, or not right before, but Autumn and I had talked about doing some things, making some moves essentially to be healthier. And we kind of decided, well, when we are in a better position financially to, join a gym and do all this, then make all these big things, we would do it. But then it just, she decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on this program. And then I kind of decided the same after seeing her results. And I'm glad I did because, obviously, like, I've had some good results myself. And, I was going to share this before we started. It was another win that I don't think I've shared with anybody. But, when I first started this, my normal resting heart rate was mid 60s. And, which I hear is good. I don't know. But now, like, my resting heart rate is like mid 50s, which, is like, somebody told me that's like, it's really good for someone my age and size and everything. So, and with someone my size, heart issues are usually like the first concern. So to know that, just like with the golfing, my body is functioning easier with less resistance, like that makes me feel good, So anyway, but I'm, this is really good because Autumn and I had talked about this the other day, that procrastination is almost it's not a good thing. I can't think of the exact right word to use, but it's not good because it's almost like you're presuming that God has that time for you that you're putting off to accomplish your goals. Like, you're presuming he's got that time and set aside and given to you that you can just take the liberty to put it off. And since we're not guaranteed that time, like, that's not good, to say, well, I'll just do it later, because you may not have that later. So anyway, I just, I'm glad. I feel like a lot of the trainings and calls we do are, Autumn and I will have talks about that kind of stuff, a day or two before. So I like that. I'm glad that, it's like almost like confirmation that we're thinking in the right direction. So I think in terms of how will I dial it back, I can honestly, I plan on printing these things out and putting them up where I can think about it, like I'm going to aim for a 7 in a category. And if it don't work, well, that's okay. Look further back down the dial and think, well, what can I still salvage out of the rest of this day? And I think, like you and I talked about the other day, I'm studying for another test in my professional career. And if I don't read at all, then it's a loss for sure. But even if I read 2 pages, that's 2 pages further than I was the day before. And so anyway, no, that's my plan. I'm going to print these things out. I might even laminate them because I'm kind of a nerd, and just put them up different places and see how I can, salvage the day if I need to.
Awesome. I love it. And I did the visuals that we have on this presentation. We did put it in the group. Did we go over everybody? I think we went over everybody already. So the main takeaway, guys, is anybody can get results for 6 weeks, for 42 days, but we are interested in changing your identity. You guys changing your identity. What is your 6-month transformation going to look like? What's your 6-year transformation going to look like? So by focusing on, okay, anybody can just lose 25 pounds in 6 weeks, but what can you lose it and keep it off despite all the crazy things happening with life? Your kids throwing a tantrum, your kids pooping on the floor, you know, coworkers bringing pizza and, you know, like forcing it on you. I hear all these stories from you guys all the time on things happening, you know, your in-laws coming and all this stuff, you know, surgery, extensive facial surgery by Michael. So all of these things happening, can you guys maneuver it? Can you guys be ready to roll with the punches and still be able to stick with your plan, even though it's not 100%? Or are you going to be discouraged and turn it off and go back to where you came from and settle for the status quo? So that is what we want you to leave you with. And just think about that. So when hardships happen, just say, this is going to strengthen me. This is going to make me stronger. And I'm practicing becoming fit for life, not just for 6 weeks, not just for 1 week, but for life. So just leaving that at that with you guys.
All right, and we will open it up with that to Q&A.
You guys have any questions?
Any questions? Bring them on out.
Any questions, Susan, Beth? Hi. We could talk about training also.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, so with the MyFitnessPal, do we enter our workouts that we do on MyFitnessPal so that we eat more calories or not?
No.
Okay.
Don't add any of the activity stuff in MyFitnessPal at all. The reason for that is because your base level activity, that's another reason why we track steps, is because somebody might do like a super challenging workout one day, and that may affect their energy expenditure the rest of the day, where they might have normally been more active, maybe even tapping their leg, tapping their finger. They're super exhausted from the work they exerted, so that movement goes down. So overall, the energy expenditure in a day could still be the same. So if we're looking at MyFitnessPal and saying, hey, you know, I burned off this much so I can have this many more calories, it just makes things more complicated than they need to be. So just don't add any of the activity stuff into MyFitnessPal. That way the numbers are the numbers and the activity is the activity, and we figure it out based off of those things separately.
Yeah, based off of how much you lose and your calories and things like that, we'll slowly start to adjust it as we go. Fitness trackers are very unreliable and they're not accurate. Yeah.
Right, and we also want to avoid the thought of thinking, you know, if I just work harder, then, you know, I'll be able to do this, right? So it's being able to differentiate. Your nutrition is the one piece, and then your fitness is the piece that you do because it makes you feel better, because it's good for your body, because it makes you a harder to kill person, all those things. So we're not associating the amount of work and how hard I work to the result. Does that make
Sounds
sense?
good. Yeah. It's automatically adding my steps. Do I just erase those?
No, right now you don't really have a calorie goal since it's your first week. Right now you're just accurately tracking. So whenever we do give you a calorie goal, which is coming up, you will just calculate your calorie goal, subtracting the steps that it's trying to give back to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Great
thank you.
question.
I love that question. It's a good question. Anybody else?
I have a
Mike?
question.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I'll go ahead.
Okay. As far as workouts, I know for me, I have a membership, so I go to the classes because if I'm working out at home, unless I'm walking, going for a walk, then it's different. But if I have to work like in my house, I get like bored and I don't really do it consistently, like for the duration of the time that I need to. So I just go to the classes. But like, so technically, like last week, I like pushed it and I did 6 days. This week, it looks like I'm probably going to do like a maximum of 4 days. Like as far as making sure like I'm improving with my, you know, like toning and flexibility and all that stuff, like would you recommend like 3 to 5 days during the week, or like what is your recommendation, I guess?
I guess it depends on like what does the class consist of?
The classes are usually it's HIIT, so we do some type of like strength training, and then we also do cardio and mixed.
I would say do your workouts at least 3 times a week.
Okay.
And then anything after that is bonus, and it'll just help you get further along with your goals. And do it because it feels good. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Do it because it feels good and it releases endorphins and it makes you feel great. But if you are focusing on fat loss and weight loss at this point, nutrition is 80%. 90%. So just
95.
Yeah. 99. But so right now, we're in the workouts. I highly encourage you doing those workouts is going to help with it, but all the heavy lifting when it comes to the weight loss is going to be your nutrition. Okay.
Okay.
And you're doing great with that. So if you do 3, that's amazing. Anything after that is just bonus because it makes you feel good.
Awesome.
And Joe?
Yeah. So a lot of the meat that I eat, like, the deer is deer that I shot, clean, processed myself. I have pork and beef in my freezer that I bought from a buddy of mine, and we had it processed, so there's no like company that tells us the nutrition value. How do I know that I'm finding the right one to put in my FitnessPal for my recipes and stuff?
It's a really good question.
And it really doesn't matter, just as long as you stay consistent. Like if you pick a measurement method, then just stick with that same one. So me and Trammy had a debate about this at a point in time. I ate a chicken and I logged a certain type of chicken and she logged a different type of chicken.
Yeah, he chose the chicken that had the lowest calories on it. And then I chose the real chicken. So he ended up getting to eat more chicken than me. So I was like, what? And then he's like, it's the same calories, but he got to eat like 50 grams more. I'm like, this is not fair. You're logging the wrong chicken.
But see, the deal is at the end of the day, when you're logging something, I was logging my number consistently. So maybe, I was eating 100 calories more. It would ultimately come out in the wash, because if my calorie number needed to be reduced for me to make progress, then it would still be reduced. If I'm lying to myself and my number is actually 3,000, I log 2,000, and then I get a calorie reduction of 500 calories, then the numbers would still go down if I am still tracking everything, even if the measurements that I'm using are not exactly accurate with the food, as long as it's consistent. Does that make sense?
It's kind of like whenever you have, I know some of you guys change scales, people's scales. And then you would message and say, oh my gosh, I gained 5 pounds on the new scale. You didn't really gain 5 pounds on the new scale. Basically, the new scale was just calibrated a little bit differently. So you shouldn't jump around on different scales and method of measurement. You should just stick with one. And the same thing, if you choose one thing of venison, then be sure to stick with that the whole time. If that makes sense. Sound good? Does anybody else have any questions?
Great questions, guys.
Really good questions. You guys are thinking and learning and really internalizing this and learning the skills for life. So we're really proud of you.
Well, on a different note, how about everybody loving that iOS 14 update that messes up all your apps?
Did that happen to anybody else? Because
I didn't upload it because my son was trying to tell me upload it, and I was like, nope, it may mess up my stuff, so I'm not doing it.
It messed up my stuff too, Michael. I understand.
Yeah, well, I've been having a lot of trouble with my FitnessPal, but anyway, it's not anything that is FitnessPal's issue. It's that new update. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that comment out there. Other than that, we can overcome that obstacle too. So thanks. Bye.
That's right. Doing awesome.
Hey, I do have one more question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I know like sleep is very important. Well, like if I'm in bed, like I do the sleep cycle app that you told me about, and it'll say like, if I go to bed at say 10 and then I wake up at 6, like I was in bed for 8 hours, but sometimes like I will only sleep like 6 of those 8 hours, and they say that the most people need 7 to 9 hours. So, I mean, am I technically not getting enough sleep? Do I need to go to bed, be in bed like 10 hours to hopefully get 7? Like what's your thoughts there?
I would say like the main thing is to keep regular sleep wake time. So you have your routine of when you're getting into bed, when you're winding down, and getting up at the same time. So as regular as you can keep those things, and then just trying to identify, what is it are you having problems falling asleep? Are you just waking up a lot in the middle of the night? Like, what do you think those factors are?
Why are you laying in bed for 8 and only sleeping 6?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I'll look at the journal the next day and I'll see the graph. And so I think it's just taking out those chunks that it's above asleep or whatever. But that's where I'm just kind of like, because I'll notice like on days that it'll say I only had 6.5 hours. Like I'll function just as well, thinking, oh, I didn't get as much and I function just as well. So that's where I was just kind of like wondering, is that which one is more important?
I say, like, I mainly just look at the number of amount of time spent in bed. So I try to make sure whenever I turn that app on, I am attempting sleep at that point. And then when I get up and I'm ready to get up, then I turn it off. So I personally, I'm logging the amount of time I actually spent in bed. If when I turn it on, I'm starting to attempt sleep right there, because the app could be off, a little bit. That's possible. But I track the number of time spent in bed attempting sleep.
Okay, that sounds good. Sorry, I had to take my daughter to the bathroom. I'm still listening.
No you're worries. Fine. Anybody else?
I didn't think y'all wanted a tour of my house.
I do have a question, and this is not really related, but that just more understand as far as like, it seems to me like Rob and Trami, you guys are like up super early in the morning. Could be my interpretation, but how did you like program your body to just do that, or do you go to bed like early?
So we kind of have a little bit of a different schedule. I go to bed just a little bit earlier than she does, and I wake up a little bit earlier. So I usually get up right at about 5, and that's just when I've found like I don't always feel like getting up at 5, but I do it because those 2 hours in between like 5 and 7 allow me to really just knock a bunch of stuff out, where it's easy for me to get up at 7 and I can still get stuff done, but those are just like my magic time hours, and I built up to that 15 minutes at a time. So if because that's just a way that you can, when you add an extra 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour, up to 2 hours of extra time that you can use to build and work towards, specific goals you have for yourself, in your career or whatever it is that you want to do, or just in pre-planning, it can really take you far. But that's like I just have it, and this is from several coaches. One of my coaches was Craig Ballantyne. He wrote a book called Perfect Day Formula. It's a really good book. But it was one of the big things is about, and we've talked to you guys a little bit about it, doing the brain dump in the evening, and then in the morning, just start hammering stuff out. And the first battle that you have of the day is that alarm clock and whether or not you hit that snooze button. Because if you hit that snooze button, that's setting the tone for the day. So it's just when it goes off, just get up. When it goes off, you just get up. That's first battle one of the day, and that builds momentum. And then everything else on that, don't look at your phone, don't look at social media, don't look at emails. You first give yourself time for some gratitude and start working on the thing that's going to move you forward, give you some momentum, give you some wins for the day. That way, when things happen, you've already got some wins under your belt, versus when you get up and the first thing that happens is you start looking at email, social media, and you see something that causes you to go, oh shit. And then we're reactive. And then that sets the tone for the whole day. Does that make sense?
So Habiba, are you trying to wake up earlier? Is that what your goal is?
So I don't know if I told you, Tremi, but I was on night shift. So I recently got a different job where I'm working day shift, and I feel so much better. I mean, my God, working night shift is like, it really messes with your mind. So currently I am on a like consistent schedule. I don't have to be to work until 7 and I get done at 4. So I'm trying to, because this is a leadership position, I want to read books that help me, and I'm trying to wake up early so I can meditate and maybe read a couple of chapters.
I love it, Habibo. So I would recommend, if you want to wake up early, is what time do you wake up now, if you don't mind me asking?
5:45, like, well, technically like 5. If I have to be to, sometimes I have a leeway, I can be to work later, but if I have to be to work at 7, I wake up at 5:30.
Got it. And then are you trying to be more productive at that time, or do you want to wake up earlier than 5:30?
So I want to wake up at 5 and have like 30 minutes of uninterrupted where I don't even have to get ready, and like I could read a book, or I can meditate or do something else.
I love it. So
let me ask you this. What time can you go to bed if you wanted to in the evening?
Typically by 10.
Could you go to bed earlier if you wanted to, or do you have obligations?
I don't really have a big obligations unless I'm doing something for my kids, which is not very often. So I haven't built my body to go to sleep that early yet. It's going to take some time for me to go to bed like around 9.
So what I would recommend for people who are trying to build up routines is set an alarm to get a nighttime routine. If you guys don't have a nighttime routine, that's something you might want to consider. So that way your body starts getting used to you going to sleep. So parts of a nighttime routine could be journaling, brain dump, looking at, one of my things is I log my FitnessPal the day before. That's one of my habits. So I know what I'm going to eat the next day. I also make sure I do reading. So your body starts getting used to you going to bed, and then you can set an alarm, Habibo. You could be like, all right, I have my routine that I'm going to start. It could be like digital detox or whatever, journaling, all that stuff. And then right at 9:30, I'm going to set an alarm to be in bed at 10. So you can set an alarm at 9:30 that you start that routine and you get to bed at 10. So that way you start to remind yourself, all right, it's bedtime.
And then there's the rip the Band-Aid off method that you could just start getting up an hour earlier, and you might not be able to get to sleep at earlier for a few nights, but if you just keep the consistent same wake up time, even on the weekends, then it'll even itself out.
Yeah.
Because you'll be tired and you'll start going to bed earlier.
Yeah, you can set an alarm far away, so whenever the alarm turns on, you have to get up. Just turn it off.
Makes sense.
Is that helpful?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I just have to do it. Set up the alarm and don't snooze.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't hit the snooze button. That book, Perfect Day Formula, is a good book on that.
All right, guys. You guys have any more questions at all? How can we help you guys? We had a really good call. A lot of nuggets dropped.
Heck yeah.
A lot of good questions, a lot of good sharing, a lot of good tips. Everybody's crushing it. All right, guys, if you guys don't have any more questions, you guys have a happy Wednesday. Reach out anytime if you need anything. Don't forget, weekly check-ins are due tomorrow, Thursday evening. So we could adjust your calories, macros necessary if we need to get you guys even more incredible results, because it's lifetime feedback that gets you guys results too.
And then don't miss out on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday is going to be awesome. We put a lot of awesome work into these, and we get really excited to share it with you.
And again, I know I talked about it a little bit on Saturday. We are looking for people from you guys to join our community. So we want to only have people as cool as you guys in here. So people that are awesome people. So Joe's already reached out and got somebody potentially coming on board. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, guys, crush it and hit us up with anything. And remember, you have one-on-one call availability if you ever need it. We're here for you. We want to pour into you guys, help change your lives in many different areas. So have an amazing weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.